Welcome to another episode of the Prep Coach podcast, and the crew is back. We've obviously done a couple of coaching interviews over the last two episodes, and not all of us have been together. So this is the first time we've been back together. And I was just talking to the boys. We haven't actually done a review of the season yet. We haven't even spoken about any shows at all. So I think it'll be good to spend a little bit of time on just reviewing the season and all the shows that we've been to and all the shows that we've had athletes in, because they're across different federations. And then we've also got a bunch of questions that have been piling up over the last couple of weeks that have been coming through. So MG, let's start with you. How are you feeling? How's everything going? Obviously in season 8, at the start of the year, you weren't at every single NBA show. Now being at every show, running Saturdays and Sundays for the last 2 weeks, how's everything feeling?
Man, it's been pretty crazy. I mean, I know you boys are feeling the same thing. Just trying to keep up with everything's been a bit of a battle, but we're doing the best that we can. We're loving it. There's no doubt about that. I think you guys would have known last week was a bit tough. I was sick as a dog all week. Talia was sick. Meave was sick as well. So I didn't quite get the middle of the week to spend with the family because I came down with something and I just wanted to stay away from them to not get them sick. They ended up getting sick anyway, but that meant that I didn't really get to spend time with the girls for about 9 days straight. So I definitely felt that. Equally, from a business front, it's the first season that we've done this many shows. There's only a certain amount of weekends available. And, we're still kind of finding our feet as well as to what is the best scenario to run 2 shows a weekend. Logistically, when you're flying from state to state, not just the manpower, but equally just how to get all the things we need to get for a show from one state to the next has been challenging. We've worked through everything, but we're learning as we go as well. So it's been a whirlwind. It's been amazing and incredibly stressful at the same time, but we're all loving every moment of it, no doubt. And it's crazy to think that we're literally getting towards the end of the season and we haven't even had the chance to have a chat about the season yet. That kind of sums it up.
Yeah, definitely. I know that the bag situation about how much we need to bring to travel, we bring, just between the three of us, it's like over 7 bags that we bring.
And we're talking about 7 bags that are at capacity, to the point that when we're at the bag check-in, the 3 of us are, and Stewie does the same thing. We are literally grabbing a set of medals from one bag to put in the other bag to just get that weight cap to be absolutely spot on. So it's been an eye-opener for sure.
Yeah, it's been crazy. And I know that obviously we're also coaching athletes at the same time and running businesses, and we've got partners and families and things like that. And it just feels that the week is super short. Basically, Monday to Thursday, we have time to work, because then Friday we're traveling for a full weekend show, and then we come back Sunday late at night and we start again. So being super efficient with our time and super strategic with where we spend our energy has been one of the things that we've really had to deal with. How's it been with you, Scotty? I know obviously same thing, family, kids, business, athletes, NBA, looking after yourself. How's it all been going?
Yeah, pretty similar, man. It's just, as you said, it's just crazy weeks. There literally doesn't seem to be enough hours in the day because, as you said, you just lose Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then, I don't know about you guys, but I was fried all day Monday. And thank God we didn't have to get that red-eye flight. But even still, you get home. I don't know about you, MG, but I was in bed by just before 2. And then, you're up at 5:30 and then you got to run a full day. So it's been very, very full on. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't starting to feel a little bit fatigued. I'm looking forward to getting over to Bali in a couple of weeks' time and topping up the tanks. Obviously, we've got the show there and the retreat, but at the same time, it's great. We knew it was going to be hustle and bustle. The shows have been amazing. I think for me, the biggest thing is just how many moving parts. Obviously, I was away for the first season, and just seeing how much goes in on the back end. And even with all of us, we're like passing ships sometimes. Like for the Adelaide show, we literally did the bump in, and then the first division walked on stage, and MG and I said goodbye to everyone. We were literally walking out the door as we could hear the crowd cheering, and we get into an Uber, and then you got to go to WA and then fly in and set up for for the next show. So it's just crazy, but equally it's awesome. It's great to be and feel blessed to be in a position to do what we do, but they're just really, really big weeks at the moment.
Yeah, definitely grateful of everything that we've been able to do. We met some amazing people, obviously amazing athletes over the whole shows that we've had recently, but just coaches, support people. Like I've been running the door a little bit on most of the comps and just meeting everyone and all the family and friends that come to support athletes. And I always say, who you come to see? Oh yeah, she's amazing. I can't wait. So It's been fun. It's been a hell of a lot of fun. It's been a lot of work, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it. So let's roll it back to the first show that we did, which was the VIX on the 14th of September on the Saturday there. MG, what did you think? Because obviously you were at the Season A Nationals that we had. Now, this being not a Nationals and just being a regular state show, what did you think about it?
Yeah, it was an incredible day. You know, changing roles and now being able to MC the show puts me in a completely different position and gives me a different perspective again. I get to be there for that final moment when every single athlete walks out on stage and obviously get to announce their name and try and make their day a little bit more exciting. But it was such an incredible day. We, no secret that we put a lot of time and effort into making this show run smoothly. 120 competitors. I think everybody knows that now. We did have 120 competitors to show. To get it to be on time with the size of the classes that we had was always going to be a challenge. Things like making sure that, lighting was able to sustain that timeline as well, tanning, hair, makeup. And we had to split multiple classes. I think we had 21 in bikini first timers alone. So, we split that into 3 sevens. So we put a lot of work into getting it to run on time. And I think for me, the greatest joy that day was, seeing it unfold and run perfectly, getting some incredible feedback from not just athletes, but for me, the feedback that we got from coaches who maybe were at their first NBA show or had an experience NBA before was really, really special. And then to call that last division 13 minutes within when we were supposed to finish, I just had that moment where I called the last name and I put the mic down and I don't know, I looked at one of you who was standing there, I was like, great job, guys. Like really, really great job. All that hard work really came to fruition today. And I was really proud of all of us.
Yeah, I think we were on time pretty much all the way through the morning show. I think we're actually a little bit ahead. We had to slow it down. I remember going, slow it down a little bit, slow it down because the tanners weren't catching up. And then I think as soon as bikini came on, that took a little bit of time because just the quality was absolutely amazing in those lineups. And then that pushed us out and then we caught up towards the end. I think, as you said, we were 15, 20 minutes later than what we wanted to finish, which is pretty damn good for a show that size. But I have to commend you on you pronouncing people's names. You were on it. You read the list a couple of days before, went over it at check-ins. You were asking people how to pronounce their names. You did you did amazing.
Thanks, man. Well, look, anyone that's come across me across any state, if you're competing and I've got any concern of what your name's going to be, I'm going to take the time to follow you up and ask you and then practice it in front of you. And I always do that. And that, I think that also provides to the experience, for Stu used to do this all by himself, and credit to him. I don't know how he managed to do it on his own because it's a big working machine. But, the ability to take that off, give him the time to focus on, what's happening at that judges table. Like thinking about having to call out 20 names and then go and judge the quality that we had in those bikini lineups. And to be honest, the lineups all day long were quality. I wouldn't have wanted to have been a judge on that day because they were tough lineups.
Yeah, they were very, very tough. And then obviously one of the things that Scotty had the role to do was to do all the drug testing. And, it might sound simple. You got to drug test every overall winner. So what is there, 11 or 12 in a day? But it really takes the whole show because you have to wait. You got to find them. They've got to pee in 2 cups. You got to write there. And then by the time that's done with that person, the next person's just won. And before you know it, you're like, the show's done. I didn't get to see much of it. So how was all of that, Scotty? Because I know you've been running that for a couple of the shows and I've taken over and I've done the testing for a couple of other shows too.
Yeah, it's I wouldn't say I love it because I would much rather be able to see some of the show. Like the WA show, I didn't really get to see any of it because it was just person after person being tested. It was actually nice at the end to sit down with you and we watched that battle in sports, which was awesome because that was probably the first time all season I've actually got to just sit and sort of be a spectator. But the VIX was pretty full on because most people would have seen me running around a little bit more frantically earlier, making sure that our lighting and everything was sorted to run on time because we have had issues with that in the past. But I was tasked with the role to make sure we stayed on time and we met our deadlines. And so for me, that was the biggest thing, that we really wanted to be punctual. And that was one of our biggest goals for this season. And to start the VIX in that fashion, like you said, I think we were 12 or 13 minutes late in the end, considering how many participants we had. And also just the crowd, like we had a record crowd. I don't think we've ever had 800 participants at a Victoria show. So to get those sort of numbers was just incredible. But equally, a lot goes in behind the scenes. Like you think about how many meetings you've had every week leading into that. But yeah, the drug testing, it definitely does require a fair bit of time. It is nice though to be able to have a front row seat and to just, you know, converse with the athlete after they've come off stage. You get them in their rawest form in terms of how they're feeling. You see that joy and excitement. And that's been nice to sort of also get to know that athlete, you know, quite well, because while you're filling out all the paperwork, you're asking questions, you're speaking to their partner, to their family. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that, you know, we try to do and we get a lot of enjoyment out of it is speaking to as many athletes and coaches as we possibly can, because we're running around backstage and obviously we check everyone in. And that's been one of the highlights for me, to be honest, is just to talk with everyone and then see the enjoyment and the excitement that they're going to step on stage, and then when they come off stage and how happy everyone is, no matter what their placing is. So it's been really great to meet so many people. Obviously, there is a bunch that listen to the potty too, so it's been great to meet some listeners and people that have been supporting us, which we're super grateful for. But we had that Vic show, and that was the only one for that weekend. And then the following weekend, we had Tassie, which you boys had never been to. I had obviously been there, and that venue is amazing. Like, we looked at it and we're like, this is a venue you could run nationals if it was like double the size, but just the actual venue, the stage, the lighting, the seating is absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you boys kind of clicked onto it, but when I said to you, we are the only bodybuilding show in Tasmania. There's no other shows. That's it. There's no other federation there anymore. There's no other shows. So the crowd we pulled was absolutely amazing. And everyone was, even you guys, there were people that rocking up saying, oh, I'm just here to watch the show. Oh, here to support. Just want to watch the show. Like, it was awesome to see all those people coming in. So, and the venue is amazing and the staff there is amazing. I know, Scotty, you dealt with a lot of it. But yeah, what did you think about the Tassie show?
I thought as soon as we walked into the room, I was just like, this is crazy. And then when we saw those projectors, and we obviously had that discussion about, let's get the reel up there. For me, as a production, Tassie, for me, production-wise, was just incredible. It was a standout show of the season to see that room packed full, the caliber of athletes. Like, Tasmania is a small state, but man, there's some really, really good quality. And then to see a lot of those athletes still traveling around to the other states has been really cool as well. But they were amazing. The venue as well to deal with, to just reiterate what you said, they were just amazing. Again, we had really good correspondence. We'd had meetings leading into it, but you know, even just from speaking to them when we first got there, all of us, like, they were really friendly, eager to help with whatever we needed. It would be incredible if we could use that venue for a nationals. Unfortunately, you can't use it on a Sunday, but yeah, I can't wait to get back to Tassie and run it back again.
Yeah, I think also, man, this is one of the reasons, you know, that we openly encourage NBA competitors and other federation competitors to come and try in a different state, because you might compete in Vic. It's an awesome day. The production's great, but there might be a different experience for you in another state where maybe the show's a little bit smaller, but the production isn't smaller. So if there's a few less competitors, but the production quality is the same, you know, that could be an amazing experience. So if you've just competed in a 120 competitor show in Vic and you're about to step into a 55, 60 competitor show in Tassie with the same production standards, you know, the recipe there is success.
Yeah. And then the next day, we had the Wollongong show, which is the first time us three had ever done that show. Stewie had obviously done it before in the past, but none of us had ever been there and done that. So it was definitely a learning curve on that venue, how to set it up, where the backstage was going to be, all that kind of stuff. But it all came together. We got the show done, and it was really good to get some really positive feedback. Obviously, a lot of those competitors had done a show previously in a similar area, similar location. And it was just great to get so much positive feedback. We felt like it was NBA light. It wasn't a full NBA, what we normally do at all our shows, just because there was a different venue and maybe so the production experience was a little bit different. But to get that overwhelming support and positivity was absolutely awesome. And majority of those people are coming to the New South Wales State show that we have this weekend. I know you boys had to go to Wollongong. Have you ever been there before, MG or Scotty?
No, first time. Oh no, we did the workshop. Yeah, we had been there before. Right. We went for the workshop. So, but we, you know, as with most of these trips, often don't quite get the time to be able to kind of stay around and explore. It's typically fly, drive down there, do what needs to be done, and kind of head back. So unfortunately, we didn't get to explore beautiful Wollongong. We did get to drive through, and it did look amazing. But yeah, next time we would probably love the opportunity to enjoy some of the sunshine that looked to be there.
And then that brings us to the most recent weekend, which was Adelaide and Perth. I've never been to Perth. That was the first time ever. And it was good to at least in the morning get a bit of a walk to see some scenery, which was absolutely beautiful. But obviously we had Adelaide first, and we were lucky enough to go there on the Friday, the day before. We caught up with Benny Wortley, who we had on the potty a couple of episodes ago. And I know I didn't say this to him or to you boys, but that was a really great experience for me. As you know, I looked up to Benny, throughout my bodybuilding, or the start of my bodybuilding journey, and to train with him was a massive highlight for me. So it was good to hang out with Benny, and then we went out for dinner that night and with all the crew, and that was really, really good. And I think we said we're going to make that a tradition from now on to go out for dinner the night before if possible, with Benny at that restaurant, which was absolutely amazing. But then we had the Adelaide show again. You boys hadn't been there. You didn't come to season A, so you may have been to that venue prior when IFBB run it in the other room, but we ran it in the theatre, which was a completely different experience. And it was great to see, coaches and athletes that have been in the other room to now come into this room and see how different we can make that NBA experience. So that was really, really good. And again, it was great to connect with the coaches and the athletes, some people that I had never met before. And everyone was just so super supportive. What did you boys think of that? Again, you had to run off at the start of the show to go to Perth, but what did you guys think of that, Scotty?
Yeah, I thought Adelaide was awesome. Obviously, it was great to get a session in. Benny's awesome. He's one of the all-time greats, and equally just very down to earth and similar to us in terms of he just loves natural bodybuilding, wants to lift it up. So it was good to kick it with him and to get a session and a feed. And I think it was just great that, all of the big heavy hitters of SA sort of came out to support us. We obviously had Jakey down there as well, and Big Scotty, who competed last season, is obviously a pro as well. So to have Jake Dedet and Scotty and all those boys there as well supporting on the day, and Seedsy, came down as well. It was just good to have such, a nice community. All of the SA community got behind us to support us. And again, it is a small state, but the quality of athletes in South Australia is, and I was pretty flat, to be honest, that we didn't really get to see it because we saw the photos come through afterwards. You boys were sending through the overall winners in our group chat, and the standard was just incredible. And that's the thing, Adelaide, it may be a small state, but the quality of natural bodybuilders there is just phenomenal, and equally very keen to see some of these athletes on stage at nationals, and a few of them said they're coming to Bali too. So I'm hopeful that at those shows I get to actually see a little bit of it on stage. But yeah, I think as far as shows go, it was awesome, and it was close to double what we did in the first season, wasn't it? I think you boys said numbers wise, so that's great as well. But I think Adelaide just needs that comfort and support because they have had lots of feds in the past sort of come and leave, and knowing that we're there, and again, we offer very much a production type show. We put a lot of time and effort and care into it, and obviously being very athlete central, we look forward to running many more in the future. It's a really good venue, good spot. I love Adelaide. Definitely looking forward to going back.
I think we were there that night and even the next day, and I think maybe MG said, "I reckon I can move here. I reckon I could move to Adelaide."
Man, I think I said it about Adelaide and WA on the weekend. It's just, nice parts of the world, especially where, which leads a perfect segue into the WA show, where we ran that in Sorrento, beautiful part of WA. And I think, the same thing that Scotty was talking about flowed through to WA, being a first show, and Stu mentioned on the microphone about it being, really part of history for us because it was the first time there, and, finally ticks us off as being a truly national federation, having shows in every state. But the quality of the winners there and the quality of the lineups there were equally as good. So whilst not being the biggest first show, we're certainly getting the top tier of competitors, which is amazing. And, we just wanted to provide an incredible experience for those guys. And I think that definitely happened. But I can't wait to get back to that venue, which was also damn incredible there at the R&D and Performing Arts Centre. That stage was incredible, and the crew down there made it so easy for us to run that show. So another monumental moment in NBA's history for sure.
Yeah, that venue, when you guys took me backstage and I was overwhelmed. I was like, this is amazing. Yeah, this is perfect. Exactly what we need. And it's so comfortable for all the athletes. There was plenty of room for everyone to do anything they needed to. But I know we had Rich on the podcast the other episode, and we're talking about the quality of WA athletes, and they definitely brought it. Like the quality was so good. And I know we didn't really get much time to be all together, but right at the end of the show, obviously had sports. We had done everything we needed to do for the day, and we sat down and we watched that sports lineup. And it was crazy competitive and really, really good. I know Scotty and I were kind of sitting together like, oh my God, who reckon, oh, she's got this, but that one's got that. What do you reckon? Which way the judge is going to go? What would you, it was amazing. And they were two top quality competitors. And I know that I believe they're coming to nationals and or Bali. So I can't wait to see them both there. It'll be absolutely amazing. But all in all, just reflecting on the whole season so far, we've had amazing support from all the helpers and crew. Like people come down, they're thanking us that they're able to help us, and we're like, no, it's the other way around. We're so grateful that you are going to spend your time, your whole day to help us, and we're going to boss you around and tell you what to do, and you're going to get it done for us. So we are so grateful of everyone that supported and helped us thus far. And again, as I said, one of the highlights for me was meeting all the athletes and all the coaches, and just them giving us so much positive feedback and being so welcoming and wishing that we grow and continue to prosper has been something that really, really hit home for me for sure. And I know probably it hit home for you boys too.
Yeah, it just was a nice kind of reward for everything that we've been doing, and the fact that when we, joined forces with Stu, we did it with Stu because we liked everything about Stu's values and his philosophy and mindset about how this sport needs to be athlete orientated 100% of the time. And the three of us believe in that wholeheartedly. And what we've been doing over the last 12 months has been making decisions with that as the founding piece. And it's starting to steamroll now. And, that's kind of, what I was grateful for, over the last 3 or 4 weeks is just seeing that come to light. So.
Yeah, so we've got Sydney this Saturday, which is super excited about. We've had some overwhelming support. We had a look at the Regos thus far, and there's some epic lineups, some really epic lineups. And again, Scotty, you haven't been to that venue, and I know we talked it up in season A because MG and I were there. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. And what I found is Sydney crowd go off. Like they absolutely go off. So it's definitely goosebumps and a really, really good vibe in that venue. So I can't wait for you to see it. It's going to be absolutely amazing.
All right.
All right. So that's, I think, a good run through of everything that we've done thus far. And I hopefully haven't wasted people's time too much. Obviously, we've spoken about, a lot of positivity, people getting around us, supporting us trying to be athlete-centric and trying to do everything we possibly can for the athletes. And it's unfortunate I've got to talk about something that's a little bit negative, but throughout the week, at the start of this week, obviously we got some people out there that try to maybe put us down a little bit, publicly humiliate us. We try to support athletes, give them a different opportunity. So we do follow, and we are inspired by a lot of athletes. And we did reach out to a bunch of athletes that we wanted to give them an opportunity to do our New South Wales show. So we sent out a message to a lot of them, and the overwhelming response from them was so grateful and positive. There were so many people that were just, oh, I can't believe that you want me to come be on your stage. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And we got so much overwhelming support. And then we did get, I won't say the federation, but we've got another federation that took that message and turned it into a negative and said that they own the athletes and we're trying to take athletes away, and they try to turn it into a negative. For us, it was very, very disappointing that happened publicly, and that they didn't see what we're trying to do and the positivity that we're trying to bring to the sport and support everyone. Also, us as coaches, even on this podcast, we support all FEDS and all those people. And to see those specific people do that after we have supported them so much, we shake their hand, we give them hugs, we praise them on this podcast. And it's just really, really disappointing that they have decided to bring something super negative to something that we're trying to be so positive about. And it was very disheartening. And I think that it actually had the opposite effect of what they thought they were going to do when they did post that. And it only brought more support towards us. We actually had people that had told us about the fact that they did what they did. And they said, we are so upset for you guys. We're going to make sure we're going to get more people on your stage. And we got a flood of regos after that point. So we're incredibly grateful that people see it the way we see it and see what we're trying to achieve here. And we're trying to level up the sport. And it's just unfortunate that there are some mindsets that don't look at things the same way we do, and obviously have some negativity towards that. But our mindset is that we're trying to be inclusive. We're trying to give opportunities to everyone. And we want to try to offer as much as we possibly can to all athletes from whichever federation they decide to compete in, whether it's ours, it's theirs, it's both of ours. And we're going to continue to do that. We're going to continue to reach out to people to see if they want to experience what we have to offer. And we're not deterred in any way. I don't want to talk about this too much, but MG, maybe you want to give some thoughts about it.
Yeah, man. Like ultimately, from our point of view, we're just going to keep letting our actions and our decision making speak for us, right? We're making decisions based on what we think is going to add to the athlete experience. And ultimately, that's going to make some people feel really, really uncomfortable. I suppose the only thing that I would say is no federation owns any athletes. This is an athletes-driven sport. Without the athletes, we are nothing. So to think that, you know, competitors belong to someone is, you know, not a good way of thinking. And ultimately, I think it's helped us more than it's potentially helped them. You know, we've supported these federations for years. In fact, you know, my team, I had 8 compete in this competitors federation on the weekend and do very, very well. So we've always done nothing but, you know, be nice and support. But ultimately, nothing's going to change from our end. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. We're going to keep trying to make the industry and the sport better. And it's really just as simple as that.
Do you want to touch on anything, Scotty, before we move on?
No, I think you guys have covered it. But as you said, I think it was more just disappointing. And I'm also disappointed because a few of my athletes that were actually going to do some other shows later in the season have now declined and said that they don't want to be involved in it because it just left a bit of a bad taste for them. So, you know, things like that. At the end of the day, and I think anyone that knows us knows that we are very grounded, down to earth, just people that love the sport and want it to be bigger and want it to be greater. And I think as a sport, it's big enough. And I think it's important to have multiple really good quality federations because it's no different to you go down to any shopping strip. How many coffee shops do you see? Like some people prefer to go to this one. Sometimes they'll go back and forth to both. I don't know about you boys, but I get coffee at multiple different cafes. And it's not because that one did something or someone else did something. It's just sometimes it's preference in terms of what you want to do. But I think we don't really need to probably say much more about it. As MG said, we're just going to continue to do what we do. You know, we have our blinkers on, tunnel vision, focused on just trying to offer the best possible experience for our athletes. And I think that's the way that we go about everything we do. Again, taking pride in your work and providing an experience that's you just can't get anywhere else, and equally focusing on just staying true to our values and what we believe in. Again, you'll never hear us speak ill of anyone or anything because, you know, trying to black out someone else's light doesn't necessarily mean that yours is going to shine brighter. We just focus on what's within our control, and that is to just offer a really good experience. We'll continue to be positive and continue to try and grow and to give the athletes the best opportunity, the best experience to showcase their hard work. So I think, you know, we can probably just move on, leave it at that. At the end of the day, we're going to be here for a long time. And again, we're going to continue to evolve and innovate and to make the sport great and to push, you know, athletes to take things to the next level, push our coaches, and we push each other. We're constantly in conversations. How can we make our shows better? That's the first thing that we talk about. You know, we vet every single thing that we do because we're constantly striving for progress. So it's disappointing, but we'll just move on. And again, we'll just focus on the positives, glass half full, not half empty, and just have a really good weekend this weekend. As you said, we've got, you know, all-time numbers that we've never had in New South Wales. So that's really positive. I've never been to the venue. I can't wait to check it out. You boys have hyped it up. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, and I think like MT, ultimately, man, the 4 of us at the moment with where we're currently at have unlimited drive to succeed. So this type of stuff is certainly not going to deter us. If anything, I feel more motivated now to continue to do even more to make it better. So
yeah, I agree. The fire is definitely still strong and just getting stronger. All right. So one thing you mentioned, MG, and we got a question about this, is obviously you supporting that other federation, putting your athletes in there. And the question was, Ballarat was the MG show. I was watching it from Brisbane. What happened? You guys freaking killed it in Ballarat. Your team killed it, man. Congratulations.
Man, it was an amazing day. I'm obviously so proud of the crew, and being away was a little bit bittersweet as well. Even the fact that my poor wife, who got sick as well, wasn't able to be there, was supposed to be there, but got really, really sick and wasn't able to go, meant that, these athletes that Maeve and I have been coaching for many, many years had a great day, and we weren't able to be there. So it was bittersweet in that regard, but it was incredible, man. I think we took out 16 divisions, both the sports and the fitness overall. And funny little stat about that Ballarat show, that's 2 years in a row that I've had an athlete win both the sports and the fitness overall. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I've definitely got a good feel about that show, and that's why I love my athletes heading down there. A couple of my team live around that way anyway, so it made a lot of sense. But it was just an incredible day. I had one of my amazing staff, Cole, who's my head coach, went down there, managed the team for me, did a sensational job. And in the sports, actually in the fitness open, I think there was 15 or 16, which there were in most of those lineups. We were fortunate enough to have Owen and T athletes in the top 3 positions in those lineups. So it was a super successful day. I was emceeing in WA, having my phone up on the side, just kind of refreshing, or Meave was sending me updates, and every opportunity I got where there was a chance to have a break and have a look at it. So you guys probably saw me with a pretty big smile, and I think, we've spoken about this before. We're all connected with each other's athletes. We're so close that we know each other's athletes, and we want the best for each other's athletes. So I'd pop the phone up and, Scotty, have a look, Chloe won this one, or this one won that one. So I appreciate you guys' supports as well to pump me up that day. But yeah, I was just really, really proud, and it was, probably the best day at a comp I could have probably ever asked for or have had. So
that's awesome. Well, yeah, we were all keeping tabs on everything was happening because we had athletes in it, and I think I was sending you screenshots. I was like, bro, she won.
Yeah.
Bro, look at it.
Yeah,
Bro.
You and me were sending me the updates. So.
Yeah.
So,
that was absolutely awesome. Well done.
Definitely.
We got a question about, are there any athletes besides your own that you're excited to see compete at NBA Nationals?
So many.
So many. For me, it's Nathan Wallace, right? Because he's always been an inspo, me coming up through bodybuilding, that kind of stuff. And I just want to see him on stage again. That bodybuilding lineup is going to be epic. There's a lot of other lineups, like I could say nearly every single lineup. But for me, just as someone that's passionate about bodybuilding, I can't wait to see that bodybuilding pro lineup. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Scotty, anyone or anything in particular, any lineups in particular?
Yeah, similar to you, the bodybuilding, the pro bodybuilding lineup, seeing Nate, Damo, I know Ross will be in it. And there is another guy, his name escapes me, but I think he's one of Joey's clients, and he did the bodybuilding on the weekend. I don't know how, but he didn't win the overall in the ICN Brisbane show, but he's elite, like high quality. I would anticipate he's going to be in the mix. He looks pro worthy already. So to see some of the size and some of those big boys up there and battling it out, I think is going to be awesome. Damo's been inside out for a few weeks now. I think Ross is a NBA pro, so I'm sure he will be in as well. And then, yeah, to see Nate come out of, a lengthy sabbatical, and equally he's looking awesome. The amount of tissue that guy has, and equally I've got mad respect for how hard he trains. I saw him pulling a 300 deadlift the other day, which, yeah, he's stupid strong. So it sort of just reminds me, and to be honest, the next time I'm in prep and I'm having a rough day and I've got a deadlift, I reckon I'll go back and watch that just as a bit of motivation. And yeah, I feel for Stewie. It's going to be a really tough one to judge, but I won't be doing any drug testing when that is on. I'm going to make sure I have a front row seat. Mm-hmm. I'm going to make sure I've got a seat empty side to side so no one can talk to me or ask me questions. I just want to observe and watch.
I think I'll be right next to you, mate. I'll be right next to you watching that one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Look, if anyone's listening to this and they don't know anyone doing those shows or anything, just come and watch it. Like, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be absolutely amazing. All right, let's keep delving a bit deeper. Actually, I've got a question about you, Scotty. If Scotty would have won his IFBB Pro card last year, would he have declined competing in natural federations? Because with IFBB, once you get their pro card, they tell you can't compete anywhere else, and they'll take your pro card off you. They also force you to pay membership every single year to keep your pro card, but that's another discussion for another day. Very timely we talk about that.
So what was the question? Would I?
If you got your pro card that season, would you then continue to only compete in IFBB and not do any other natty feds?
Yeah, 100%. Of course. Like, is that to have an IFBB pro card? You can go and do shows all over the world. Really, like it would give you that opportunity. I wouldn't go enhanced. I would still stay natty, but I would just compete as an IFBB pro as a natty. I'm sure I wouldn't do very well. Probably would never win another medal ever again. But equally, I think, and I've sort of mentioned this to you boys, for me, that would then give me the drive to want to be better, to train harder, to, you know, iron out any creases you could. So yeah, I think I probably would. I would accept that pro card, and then just to be able to be at a venue to go up against some of those real top end guys. I think that would be a crazy experience.
Yeah.
What would you do? If that was you, what would you do?
Yeah, for me, I probably would. If I just got that pro card, I'd probably just stay there. But again, my competing days are few and far between, to be honest. So I would probably just do like IFBB natty shows if I had that. And they don't have really many natty pro shows, because you got to think about it. Everyone wants an IFBB pro card, but then once they're there, especially if they're natural, there's not many natural shows you can actually do as a pro.
So were you saying as a because the show that I did wasn't a natty fed, it was enhanced. So you're saying if I had an IFBB Pro League Pro card? Yeah.
If you had a Pro League Pro card, you can use that in any pro show. And most of the pro shows are untested. There is some
natty pro shows too, are there?
There are some. I'm talking like not even a handful.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, not even a handful. So you
can do both if you are natty.
Yep, you can do both. Yeah, because obviously at the natty ones are going to test you, right? So.
Well, I don't know how many IFBB pros are natty.
Oh, probably not many. I wouldn't think so. And we're talking like it'd be in the divisions like men's physique and bikini. It's anything above that is probably not going to be.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, natty pros. So one thing that people need to think about too is if they're going to go into the IFBB, get an IFBB pro card. After that, they've got to think about what is really next from a competing and being competitive perspective if they are natty. So
the only division I think it would have to be bikini, man, because I mean, I don't know if I showed you guys Bo, who won his pro card at IFBB in physique. He's the guy that beat me in Queensland when I did it. He is enormous. He was enormous when I did it. I remember when Tony lifted his arm up when they do that photo, and this like lat wing. I remember it was just like it covered my whole head. The guy was, I think, because you weigh in the day before, and my weight was like 83.8 or something, and he was like 94 or 95 kilos, and he peeled, and he's like the same height as me. 10 kilos of tissue is a shitload of muscle.
Yeah.
And this guy's gotten bigger again. So it's I reckon, some of the bikini girls I think definitely could, because you look at girls that have a lot of size, your Maddies, your Everins, those sort of girls that carry a lot of tissue. But yeah,
I get you. All right, next one. This one, another one for you, Scotty. Which SIS gels does Scotty recommend? I know you spoke about it on another potty.
I was going to say, have I spoken about this, or did someone just see me giving a couple to my athletes?
We spoke about it when we were talking about peak week, show day carbs, what to do. We're talking about the keto, that kind of stuff. And then you spoke about the gels, and someone said, "What does Scotty recommend?" Do you want to just quickly refresh what you use the gels for? It's only show day, etc., etc.
Yeah, so I use it on show day just as a means to get in some carbohydrate quickly without having to eat food. So if you've got, well, really any competitor, it doesn't have to be a classic or a bodybuilder or anyone that you don't want any sort of distension, or you don't want to have to feed them a lot of food, it's a good way to just add in some carbohydrate and to get it into the blood nice and quick. The reason I use the SIS gels is because they have lots of different blends. Most of the time they're used for endurance-based athletes, and I guess I probably come across some of the different types a bit more because I work closely with SIS at Saracens last year, because they have a whole range and we use a lot of their stuff for our players. And so I sort of got creative thinking, and I started using it about a year ago, thinking we could use these, and they have some real, different types, like different blends of maltodextrin and fructose. and with caffeine as well, because caffeine helps with uptake and partitioning of carbohydrates. So I use them during the day so that athletes don't really have to eat too much. So they stay nice and light. They're super friendly on the small intestine. Again, they just cross the membrane, get across the blood really, really quick and easy. And I've had a really good experience anecdotally with my athletes being able to just pump up, push in an acute dose of carbs. Because sometimes if you're having just the rice cakes and honey, you have a bit too much, you can get a little bit bloated. And the SIS blends, they have lots of different types. They have that nice blend of a 1 to 0.8 ratio of maltodextrin to fructose, and that is, I guess, the golden ratio that I think it was O'Brien and colleagues. There was a paper, I think it was like a 2013 maybe, and I actually read that before this was in the SIS stuff, but that makes a big difference in terms of being able to get food in without causing any kind of GI distress. And I've used them with endurance athletes before, and so I'm like, why could I not use them with physique athletes? And so it's an easy way. Again, they're portable. If you need to give an athlete to eat something, they literally just tear it, suck it, it's in, digest well, doesn't cause any kind of bloating or distension. So yeah.
And are they expensive? Because you can get a rice cakes and honey for a couple of dollars. Are they expensive?
They can be if you buy. I get all of my athletes, so before their preps, their competition run starts, I send out my athletes like a what to get list. So from their pre-workouts to citrulline malate to the gels to all those sorts of things. So if you buy in a bulk pack, I think it might work out to be $2 or $3 a gel, something like that.
And how many gels would they use on a show day, you reckon? I know it's dependent, but are we talking 2, 5, 10?
Well, bodybuilders might use between 3 or 4. Again, most of the time, if you've topped up, so if I've had to backload someone aggressively, like you're pushing conditioning, they're an easy way to help, saturate muscle glycogen stores. But it's more, I use it just if someone, we don't want them to eat too much, it's more to, I guess, restore liver glycogen, and then maybe, a gel an hour or so out, or if they're pumping up and they need a bit more carbohydrate, if you're not happy with the look and the fullness. But anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4. The ones that I use have about, I think they're 40 grams of carbohydrate, but you can get different ones. You can get 20 gram, 30, 40, 60s. But again, the 40s are good because you're staying within that ratio of, roughly 60 to 80 grams of carbs per hour in terms of being able to digest and partition.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, that's good. Hopefully that information helped the person asking that. All right, Let's move on to another question. So female sports model athlete, 40 plus, have competed twice, placed 4th and 5th. I'm setting my sights on a pro card with NBA and ICN. I know it takes time and it's not a guarantee. What kind of mindset and habits need I adopt? All my kids have grown up and I have time to chase my goals. So she's placing around about 4th, 5th. She's 40 plus sports model. What does she need to do to try to chase that pro card? One thing I will say is that NBA does offer a Masters pro card. And the way that works is at a Nationals, you need to be in your Masters lineup. And if the judges believe that you are pro quality and standard, then you can be awarded a pro card. Okay. That's a little bit different. Also, the same happens if for whatever reason you are a pro in another federation already and you come in and do the NBA pro show and you can go into the pro lineup for Masters. And again, you can win your pro card that way if you're a Masters. So NBA has that opportunity to get a Masters pro card, which can be used the same as a normal pro card. It's the same certificate, to be honest. I print them out, so I know. But MG, we're talking about someone who now has a bit of time on their hands. They can set their sights on this goal. What are some of the things they need to do from like a habits and mindset perspective to really, start to ramp things up and push to the next level?
Man, I think it just comes down to being ridiculously meticulous in your, in the pursuit of your goal. I'm talking about training overload achieved all the time, tracking and measuring every weight session that you're doing, your nutritional adherence to the gram. It's not really about 1 or 2 specific things that you can do. Rather, it's more so about doing all the things that are required daily, consistently for a long period of time. So, if you were 4th and 5th, first of all, well done. Hoping that you acquired some feedback and, found out where maybe 1, 2, and 3 placed above you. Was it a symmetry issue? Was it a conditioning issue? And have a solid plan with your coach about how you're going to address those things that you didn't have when you placed 4th to make sure that you keep moving up that pecking order. So rather than just kind of, all right, I placed 4th, and I'm going to have an off season and kind of just do the exact same thing. Well, are you actually addressing the things that put you in fourth, which is still a great result, but how are you going to jump those next 3 spots is really what you need to be thinking about. So, again, things like muscle imbalances, was it conditioning, and can you address those things in the amount of time that you have before you plan on stepping on stage again? So I think there's 2 parts to it. One is obviously about, adherence and absolute dynamite adherence, and 2 is making sure that you're actually trying to fix the things that landed you in 4th place.
Yeah, I think, just to kind of summarize that is get feedback, know what you need to work on, have a coach that can help you work on those things, that can put a plan in place, and then just give yourself time and consistency, adherence and intensity towards absolutely everything. And that's what's going to help you get to that position. Again, nothing is guaranteed because you never know who's going to rock up on the day, but all you can do is do your absolute best and put yourself in the best position ever. And that's what I'd recommend. And think about maybe what season lines up best for you. Obviously, with NBA, as I know, there's multiple opportunities to get a pro card. You've got a pro card in the autumn season, in the winter season, and twice in the spring season because you can do it at nationals and in Bali. So there's multiple opportunities to shoot for that pro card. Just got to pick which one best suits you and your plan, and then put it in place and start executing. All right, boys, we might leave it there. There's a lot of questions, but maybe we have to leave it for next time. I know we've got to get on to an NBA meeting so that we can organise this Sydney show and get everything down. But super keen for this weekend, for Saturday. Also, ICN Victoria is also this weekend, and I believe you'll be there, MG, on the Sunday. I'll definitely be there on the Sunday. I don't know if Scotty, do you have girls on the Sunday? No. So you get the day off. Lucky you. But we'll see everyone also on Sunday in Victoria for ICN as well. All right. Thanks boys.
Guys. Great catch up.
And we'll chat to you all soon. Thank you.